Okay, so this question is for me. It says, how did I meet my wife and the convictions? So we have already answered how I met you.
Yeah.
So, convictions.
You get fine. A conviction was in it.
So there's something about you force a man to commit by your attitude. If the person really wants you, that person should be bold enough to see what they want. Should be bold enough to see what they want. So over the years, I've grown to really appreciate your nature of being very detailed. If you were like me, you'd be in the bush by now. That's just the truth. So I'm just wondering. I've not seen a picture of children. Do you have any yet? And if not, how have you been able to cope, especially your wife? Alright.
Welcome back.
So this is hopefully the final section of this video.
There is no item 7 in this your podcast, uncle. No puff puff or cheese balls. No water.
So as I was saying, see the word you bought for me, so let's find out of my hand.
You have to expand your capacity.
You bought this word for who you think I'm going to become.
Speak it, my Lord. My man of God is here.
So alright, so let's go on. This person says, I think it's part of the first question, the financial student. It says, was your wife able to get fixed with either a job or business that supports her financial level as someone who was working before marriage relocated her? So marriage didn't relocate you instantly, you relocated you after 2 years.
But it's still relocation.
And you quit your job at the point of relocation. So I guess the question is, how did you handle it after that?
Okay, so when I relocated, I had no job. I came into a jobless. So, but as a lady, you've got to get a job, because in this time and age, you have to be supporting your family, your husband financially. So I went into online teaching. For those of you that don't know, so I took my teaching online, and I've been doing that for 3 years now. So that is how I've been able to, increase my financial. In fact, my financial level has increased. What I was earning,
like 10 times of what you are earning when you were still
so that was how I was able to move.
Okay, so this question is for me. It says, how did I meet my wife and the convictions? So I've already answered how I met you. So convictions.
You get fine. Get conviction was in it.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, yes, I was attracted to you physically. So that was that. But then when you talk about convictions, I think at the time when I met you, just like you said, there were also a lot of ladies in the picture. A lot of people that I also was attracted to, I liked. But I mean, oftentimes when people ask me this question and I tell them it was God, it always sounds like
very spiritual,
trying to be spiritual. But I mean, really, that's what it was. Because at the end of the day, I had all my options. I brought it to God. I said, God, see this person. I just said, help me. I need to make the right decision for myself, for my purpose, for my vision, and all of that. And the thing is not that you hear an audible voice from God, but if you just approach something prayerfully, there's something that is heightened in your spirit. You become more sensitive to observe the most important things, right? So there are a lot of very, very nice ladies, beautiful, elegant, spiritual, all of that. But the more you interact with them, there's just you just know it's not this. It's just you basically become more spiritually sensitive to it. It's just like, take for instance, if you're praying for. I remember when I first when I was a bachelor and I first paid the rent for my house. It was a 3-bedroom flat in Okade. When I paid, I wanted to buy cushions, right? Palo cushions, and I wanted specifically a coffee brown cushion. And I started praying and saying, God, I need money. I can't afford it, but I need to do it. And it seemed as if all the places where they build furniture in Oka, my eyes open to them. I used to cross those places all the time.
But you wouldn't notice.
I never noticed them, because something I was praying about, suddenly my eyes just start seeing it everywhere, and I was start seeing brown. As if I was seeing brown cushions everywhere. I've all these cushions been here before, right? So I think that's what prayer does. It makes your spirit open and sensitive to seeing the answer to your prayer, so to speak. So I was able to, so whenever I interacted with you, there was just that, like when Elizabeth talks about
baby in your womb was
when she met Mary. Yeah, so I had that experience. I just knew this is the person. We had a lot of difficult. We didn't have a very smooth courtship. We had times when we almost broke up, but even at those times, when you just go back to, you just know that this is the person.
There's no go back.
This is the person. Go back. So there are many times where I had, maybe in further podcast, I'll share some of the experiences we had. But I'll just know that this is the person. Just go back to this person, right? And so we'll always come back. So yeah. So those were my convictions. Yeah. All right. So this person says, "Congratulations on your anniversary, sir and ma. Thank you so much. I wish you many more peaceful years. God bless you." To my question, he says, "For the first time in my life, I prayed about a certain guy concerning marriage. I felt peace and a go-ahead in my spirit. We've always been friends, but since that time, he has been bringing up talks about marriage and my plans for the future. He recently told me he has an issue with ladies always flocking around him, whether he woos them or not. He confessed that he sometimes leads them on just for the fun of it. Now I'm scared and can't stop feeling like I'm being led on."
Hey, sister, I'm leading you on. No. Sister, if the brother has not told you pump and plain that I want to marry you, there's a leading on happening to you.
This is the way I'll say it. Now, the truth is that oftentimes people don't talk so much about it, but men love attention.
Yeah.
Men love attention. We love the attention of women. Anytime there's a man that women like a lot, we enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the truth. However, there's a very thin line between enjoying attention and leading people on.
Yeah.
Leading people on is where you now start having unnecessary intimate talks with that person and dropping suggestive comments that makes that person feel like you're interested in them, but you just want that person there.
But you don't want the person
to go. You don't want the person to go. You don't want the person to come close. You just want, and that's witchcraft. That's wickedness as far as I'm concerned. That's just pure witchcraft. Honestly, that's witchcraft. Yeah. Because you're leading. I've had to cancel so many people with this same issue. You have 5 ladies and you're leading all of them on. It's wrong. However, in this particular situation, we don't know the context again, so I can't tell you that he's leading you on specifically. However, we always say that if a relationship has not been defined, make sure that you keep the privileges that are, how do I say it? A normal friendship has privileges that accrue to it. Yeah. A courtship has marriage has privileges. So make sure you don't give the person more than they have committed.
So he should have access to the privileges of the already defined relationship.
If the person is serious and wants to marry you, the person will say it.
Say it well.
If he says it, he has defined it.
Yeah.
And then that way, so you say you've prayed, you felt peace about it. So assuming you've done your due diligence spiritually, it means that you know that this person is the right person for you. However, you're knowing and he's knowing are two different things.
Exactly.
That person has to also know for themselves, be convinced for themselves, and do the necessary things. So,
and it's even dangerous if you push yourself onto this kind of man.
Exactly.
That's not again what was there. You're the one that chased him.
Exactly.
So you have to keep mute and make sure he's the one that comes forward and say, okay, now let us.
We are very, very adamant that a man should do the chasing. Now the thing is this, just like in our case, there's something called positioning. Positioning and chasing are not the same thing. Women can do positioning. Yes, women can. For instance, you position for me.
People of God.
You position for me. So positioning is like, it's what we call green light, so to speak. But it's not outrightly chasing the man and saying, I like you, I want to marry you, I want this. It's not that, because I just personally do not subscribe to that. It's a turn off for me. It's an instant turn off. The moment I know you're chasing me, it's gone. There's no hope whatsoever, right? So, but you can position yourself. In other words, know you're available. But the beautiful thing about positioning is, again, having boundaries, having very strong boundaries. So the person knows that you're here. But if the person asks or pushes for anything beyond what he has committed to, refuse. So there's something about you force a man to commit by your attitude. If the person really wants you, that person should be bold enough to say what they want. Should be bold enough to say what they want. So even if you are positioned, let me say I'm positioned, the man will not take you and just whatever. No, I'm positioned, but it says no. I'm in a relationship. Why would you ask me for that? Right? So that way, even if the person hasn't yet had a conviction, the person will go and seek that conviction and then come. So I mean, that's, for me, define it. If the relationship is not defined, do not give unnecessary
and another thing is that one thing God has given ladies is intuitive ability. So now you're feeling scared that you're being led. It's possible you're being led on.
It's possible.
So it's better you listen to that intuition,
and
that
keep
thing.
Your distance.
Exactly.
Keep your distance. So if the person wants to,
instead of building castles in the air and moving.
Exactly, because this person has fallen in love.
Yeah, problem.
In love with you, and so you're already at his mercy. So if you have those boundaries, keep yourself, have those boundaries, then that person should make it clear what it is that they want. Any relationship that's not defined, abuse is inevitable.
Yes,
so,
yes,
I mean,
yes, sir.
Yeah, so I think this is the last question. Is it? Yes, it is. So this is the last question. Okay, second to last. This one now is about our differences. It says, are we similar or are we different? And how do we handle our differences?
Oh God, we're similar and different. There's no two person is exactly the same thing.
We're actually quite different.
Yeah.
We're actually quite different.
How in what ways are we different?
Just our natures. Take for instance, you're very detailed. You're a very detailed person.
Structured.
Very structured. My wife always wants to write down everything. If I tell my wife I want to do this, she tells me, when do you want to do it? What's the date? What's the time? When are we starting? When the thing pisses me the hell off. So me, I just want to have that.
To swing it.
I want to how do I often say that? I want to wing it.
Yeah, you want to wing it. Yeah, you're very spontaneous.
I'm very spontaneous. I can wake up one morning and say boom. It was like when we were together to a movie, shocked my wife. I just woke up one morning and I'm going to a movie. So I was like, what are you talking about? And that was it. And I moved and so I'm spontaneous, but you like being meticulous, you like being planned, you like being structured. So we are really different, but I think in so many other ways, we're different in so many ways, but we're also similar in a lot of ways. I think when it comes to our values, when it comes to we're similar. Our beliefs, our values, our convictions are basically the same, but the way we approach it, the way we execute it is different. Then again, you're a woman and a man. That alone is a difference for this one. I often say God was playing a practical joke when he said to marry me. I don't know what he had in mind, but but I think how have we handled those differences for me? I think realizing that they complement each other.
Exactly.
They complement each other. Now, over the years, I've grown to really appreciate your nature of being very detailed. If you were like me, we'll be in the bush by now. That's just the truth, because we'll be in a forest somewhere. That's just the truth. So I began to appreciate that God gave me a perfect match. I'm spontaneous, I'm creative, I have a lot of ideas, but oftentimes I don't have systems to execute those ideas. And so oftentimes, nowadays, we've been able to, I just tell you what my ideas are. Oftentimes you say, let us talk. Oh my God. And then we sit down, we start talking, and you ask me very uncomfortable questions. I don't like being asked those questions, but they force me to think deeply about the ideas, and I say, okay, you ask me, how do you want to do this? What's the best way? If I say, give an idea, you question that idea. And the more you do that, the more I'm able to come up with systems, or you give suggestions of systems. So I think just knowing that our differences complement each other, because people often struggle with differences because they rub the wrong way. I'm very uncomfortable when you question me. Sometimes I say stop asking me questions. I don't like those questions because I'm like, just allow me to flow. Let me flow with the matter. But somehow but when I realize that this is complementing, I've learned how to endure. I don't necessarily enjoy it, but I've learned how to endure it, knowing that it's working together. Yes, for my good.
Okay.
So for me, that's how I've handled it.
Okay, so for me, I think the angle I'm going to come in from is accommodation. Okay. There are differences that don't really complement, like behavioral differences. If you are watching a movie, my husband, hey, if he goes out and come back, he will take it back. As in,
I'm a filmmaker, I can't miss it.
He can, oh my God! And he'll come and just, I'll be like, oh my God, let me just tell you what happened, because I want to get to the end. So there's some things that he would do behaviorally that is not how I would naturally do things. So that difference for me is creating room for each other's differences. You're not exactly. This person should be their self fully in your presence, and it's their difference that makes them who they are. They won't start like when we got married newly. He wanted me to be serving him like. We are still doing it. He wanted me to be serving him like proper, But for me, where I'm coming from, we eat anyhow, anywhere, like we eat together. So it was a difference for me, but I understood that this is who he is, and this is what makes him who he is. So I have to accommodate that difference and enjoy it. So now when I look at it, I admire it. Oh, this is different and unique, and I learn one or two things from the way he does things differently from myself. So that accommodation and knowing that the differences also complement is beautiful.
All right, we are at the home run.
Finally.
Final question, and this one is this question says, forgive me, I mean no harm. I don't know why Nigerians start questions like this. Why you apologize? You didn't do anything wrong. I understand. It says, I'm just wondering, I've not seen a picture of children. Do you have any yet? And if not, how have you been able to cope, especially your wife? I've been only 4 months married, and I'm not finding it funny, as I want it to happen fast since I did not marry early.
Okay, so you want me to answer? Okay, so to debunk, or how do I say this is the first to clear the air. Yeah. We are still trusting God for children, and they're coming soon. So get ready to come and talk more. All right, so we've not had children, and how have I been able to handle it? God has been helping me. That's the summary of this thing. So I think I've had a very I've had good support system from people too. My husband has been very supportive. I've not had pressure from him. I've not had pressure from my family members and friends. I don't know, maybe like I think God surrounded us with wise family and friends. So we've had the right support system. And another thing is that we know that we're in the plan of God. That conviction helps you understand that no matter what is happening in your life, as long as you're a child of God, God is working all things together for your good. That perfect end that he has promised you, he's going to make it happen. It may tarry, but it will speak at the end. So that confidence in what God has said concerning us and in the promise he has given us just keeps me at rest. Sincerely, I'm not stressed. I'm not stressed like this. I'm not awake at night crying. No. I'm just trusting and believing God and doing what he has asked me to do. And God has I want to say it's magical, or is crazy. God has filled me with joy. I don't know, people expect that I will be sad, or I don't know, I don't feel those sadness. God has helped me and filled me with joy. So I have joy even while waiting. So I think God, family, friends.
I think it's really important, because when we got married initially, we weren't trying to have children. We didn't want to have children immediately. We didn't want to have children immediately, but even when we started trying, there's been some difficulty. But like you said, there's no doubt in our hearts that it will happen, right? So we really are not fretting about it whatsoever. And I think one of the things that has really helped us is every year, every month, every day that you don't yet have children, there are some things that you can do now. Yes. and oftentimes when I talk with people who are dealing with this thing, oftentimes I find that they are just waiting to have children. They're just like, and it's a problem. It's the next big thing. Because it many times it stymies them. They are in one place. And 2 years, 3 years before God, and you've wasted 2 years doing absolutely nothing. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. For instance, I remember when we shot our first feature film, Playing Pretend. One of the things I thanked God for that point is that we didn't have children yet. Because I kept imagining how we would have accomplished it if we had children at that point. So, that's not to say we're not expecting, that's not to say we're not doing everything we should, medically, physically, spiritually, we're doing everything that we should do. But don't waste the waiting period. Exactly. Don't waste the waiting period. And for me, that's the key. That's the key. For every moment, if you go, my wife is furthering her education. There's stuff you can do now. There's stuff you can do now while you're waiting. So rather than sit back and mourn over the fact that it's not yet there, there's a lot you can do with that time that you have. Use it so that when the children come, you're prepared. You're prepared and you're far advanced than where you would have been. So for me, I my advice to people who are trusting God for children as well is, don't sit there. Don't be idle. Don't just sit there waiting for it. Oftentimes when maybe your wife's period comes, there's this devastation, and then you go back to depression, and by the time you're out of it, it's to the next ovulation, and then the next. I mean, don't wrap yourself in that cycle.
No.
We have a lot of plans. Like, look at all the plans we have for this year. There's a lot to do. If the Lord blesses us with children now, yes, some of those plans change, and we'll be grateful for that. But we have to plan with our reality. We have a lot to achieve, and the more you are achieving those things, when those children come, take for instance, we had children the first year of our marriage. Those children that suffer small poverty, right now, if those children come, they'll be comfortable because God has blessed us. That's the truth, right? So we have walked to where we are. We keep walking. So for me, I just don't sit idly waiting for it to happen. Find out what God would have you do right now and do them. For me, that's what I would say to that person.
And to add to that, find the right people to support you.
You don't pressure one another.
Yeah, find the right people to support you. One of the things that have helped me is I have a community, the brethren. They are there to support. I have sisters in church that pray for me. So I have a support system. Yeah. People that don't tell you, hey, there's some girlfriends that you don't need in your life. They will just pressure you into. There's some, you don't need them. Find the right people. Pray that the Lord will send you the right people.
Well, that have told us all kinds of things. Buy this, do sacrifice on top of here. Go here. What's all that? So there's a lot of unnecessary pressure that you don't need in your life.
So surround yourself with the right people, the right energy, and have complete, absolute trust in what God has said concerning you.
And a lot of every bad in good situation has something good that can come from it. True. There's something. Like we recently started doing a study about people who have had delays in marriage in the Bible. And we're having so many powerful revelations those studies in scripture. In fact, that it's even now growing into a book that are waiting. So I mean, there's so much good that can come from
the waiting
what
period.
Is your waiting period? What is your challenging period?
And I think it might not even be children. It can be anything you're waiting for in marriage.
Whatever it is you're trusting God for. The waiting period is important. It's important that it is a productive period.
Season.
That is not just a waiting period.
And
you're just waiting and murmuring and crying, and it doesn't help anybody. There's so much you can achieve within that period. So and don't pressure one another. You're in it together. Right?
Don't blame
anybody. It is we. Marriage is we. Marriage is we. It is always we. Right? So I think that mentality alone would really help you. So that's the end of the questions.
Okay, so do you want to ask me a question?
I have a question for you. So
I have a question for you. Excuse me, sir. I have a question.
What's the question?
My question is that if someone says something that they will do, they will do it. I mean, you have to tell us now when you're gonna pay me my 50K. It's 20 seconds. 3 weeks are gone. You say if I finish reading book for 3 weeks, you pay me 50K. I finish reading book. Tell us when we are getting a lot.
No problem. I'll pay.
When will you pay, sir?
Half it. When will
you pay?
You trust me.
I trust you, sir.
That's what
when will you pay?
So guys, we've come to the end of today's podcast. It's been a very interesting period. It's always beautiful talking with her. I talk with her every day, but it's still always beautiful talking.
You have to start paying me all this joy I'm bringing into your life.
So, as I was saying, thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for enjoying this. This is, like I said, this is our anniversary edition. We're also recording so many podcasts addressing so many issues on love, fatherhood, mentorship, relationships, men's issues, and all of that. And you'll be seeing a lot of that content. Please make sure you like this video, share this video with your friends, make sure you subscribe to the Salt Nation TV channel, and follow us on our social media channels at Salt Nation on Facebook, at Salt Nation on Instagram. But then you also have Myra and Victory on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram. Myra and Victory, you can also follow us there. So so that's the end of
I did.
Alright guys, so till when next we see, this is the Just Saying podcast. We've said so many things. I hope they've helped your life. But what do we know? We're just saying. Till next time, I remain Sir Victory.
And this is Lady Myra signing out.
God bless you.
Bye.
Come save this one.
We did not kiss.
So it's not for us, partner.
We did not kiss. Let's go.
subscribe to Salt Nation TV. Please take a moment right now to subscribe